another version of Vedic culture and knowledge, and we're continuing with our interview with Bhakti Vasudeva Swami, who is publishing various papers in peer-reviewed journals about many different issues, most of them justice and crime issues, and how the social sector and the political sector and even the governmental sector is influenced by personal ambition, and that ambition turning dark and being used for personal gain. So one of the main issues that Bhakti Vasudeva Swami has been dealing with for some time is this issue called kleptocracy, which is a word that I had really not heard before. And we'll talk a little bit about that and how he uses the applied understanding of Vedic knowledge as a technology to help purify and also deal with some of the problems that come about as people in high places tend to use their position for their own inurement. So we'll ask Bhakti Vasudeva Swami to speak something. First of all, we should probably start with a explanation of what kleptocracy exactly is. So I'll have you say something about it.
So I'm happy to be here on board, on air. Kleptocracy has been one of my areas of interest in my research. I've researched on kleptocracy, and I've published on kleptocracy in a number of peer-reviewed journals. My first publication this year was on kleptocracy in Nigeria, and then that was published in January by the Journal of Financial Crime, published by Emerald, right there in London. And then my second publication this year came out in May, and that is the title of that publication is Legislative Kleptocracy, Systems Approach. And I have another third publication that has been accepted and is built for publication in October, and that is Judicial Kleptocracy.
Judicial, so that's different than legislative kleptocracy. So many nice flavors, like Baskin Robbins.
And my current work, and one of the current works I'm working on, again on kleptocracy, is kleptocracy. I'm trying to I'm considering using this team de-escalation strategies for kleptocracy in the oil industry.
Oil industry.
Yeah. So let's get to the basics. Kleptocracy is simply, the word seems, in scholarship, we are fond of using, high-sounding words. But kleptocracy simply means, high-class thievery.
Right.
When someone is a system of governance, kleptocracy is a system of governance where the governor or the person at the top uses his brain and finds some loopholes in the system where he or she steals from the government or siphons money from government coffers to his or her personal purse for their own sense gratification. And this is a very common thing. If someone is not a kleptocrat is someone who is supposedly in leadership, who lives this type of life by stealing from where he is supposed to use the resources to be able to maintain his people or those who are actually serving under him. So, according to Srila Prabhupada, one of the defaults of the human condition is cheating. So if someone is not involved in cheating, that is strange.
Right. That's unusual. If someone is involved in cheating, that's usual.
And again, Srila Prabhupada, 2014, in one of his purports in the Bhagavad Purana, he mentions that if someone steals a cucumber or steals a diamond, it's all stealing. It's just that one person has a chance to steal a diamond, Another person has, was exposed to stealing a cucumber. But the inherent nature, the intrinsic value of thievery is there. Cheating is based on this cheating tendency that high-profile government officials steal from the government. Mm-hmm. So it's not something strange for scholars of kleptocracy, especially those coming from a Vedic background. Now, if we look at the whole scenario, the question is, what are the causes of kleptocracy? And you know, perhaps better than I do, why people are stealing. Because, for one, we want social prestige. Second, we are not satisfied with whatever we have. Even Bill Gates is still looking for more money.
Right. That's the nice thing about material life is no matter how much you have, you still want more.
So we're not satisfied. And therefore, we find that because this tendency is there, it gives rise to some people who do not control themselves, who are not able to control themselves to steal even against their better judgment. I say against their better judgment because when they got caught, ultimately they will say, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yes, they're there. We know you're sorry. You can go home.
So, what I'm trying to say is that, sometimes it's so easy for us to point accusing fingers to people and say, just damn them to hell, exterminate them, kill them. They steal from us. Like one of the papers that I was focusing on Nigeria, one of my queries in that paper was that, okay, these people we are complaining that they are kleptocrats, they are, high-profile thieves. Who gave birth to them? I said, we gave birth to them. It means that right in our families, we have been cheating, and we have that cheating consciousness based on that collective consciousness of the wife and the husband. A child of kleptocratic mindset is invoked into the womb of the woman. So my argument in that paper was that, if you are put there, you are not trained on how to control your senses, how to control your mind, you will also become a victim of circumstance. So, bottom line is that, yes, we have cheating propensity, but that cheating propensity could be purified in a process of spiritual involvement. Mm-hmm. And that is where the Vedic system is so important in redirecting this our modern misdirected governance. And so one of the things that I like to mention here is that this is a Vedic principle, but also social scientists criminologists have generated a theory based on this. Now, according to the general theory of crime, which was postulated in 1980 by Gottfriedson and Hitchie, if you Google the general theory of crime, you'll find this. And it stipulates that all crimes, including kleptocracy, all crimes and antisocial behavior are due to low self-control. Now, in the Upadesamrita by Rupa Goswami, one of the Vaishnava great scholars, has written that for one to be a global leader is so easy, in as much as you are able to control your tongue, your belly, your genitals, your mind. If one is able to do all of this in his own ways, he says, I beg to quote the Sanskrit terminology. He said, Vacha Vegam, Manasa Kroda Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udara Pasta Vegam, Etam Vegam Yo Visahita Dira, Sarvam Apima, Prithvi Samsija. So these are These are what the kleptocrats needs to work on. Watch your wegam. What we say, what we eat, what we say. The mind. If we are not able to control our mind, then we are in a problem. We are bound to someday take undue advantage of the opportunity that was given to us to serve our constituency. We will steal from where we are supposed to use for maintaining the masses. And it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a spiritualist. We have seen so many spiritual organizations, leaders, they steal money. So it is not just political leaders. A kleptocrat could be anyone and everyone, because the cheating tendency is inherently intrinsic in each and every one of us. Even the cheating in the families based on the wife cheating on the husband cheating on the wife is due to this default of cheating propensity. And so the bottom line, one major fact we could derive from the social science in integrating the Vedic cosmology is that those who are in this habit of kleptocracy or this system of governance, they have low self-control. And this is also adduced in the Vedic literature, that if someone does not control their mind and their senses, you cannot trust them at all. They may be very good today, talking good things, and you tomorrow it could be a different thing completely. So that is an endogenous factor. Endogenous factor means that cause of kleptocracy here, which is coming from within the organism, is propelled from within the organism. There are external factors which I call exogenous, but the endogenous factors, they are like enemies in our camp, and it's so difficult to deal with enemies in your camp. And so we have this low self-control as a major problem that is militating against uprightness in governance, and thereby giving rise to kleptocratic behavior.
So is there a pill for that we can take? We can get high self-control?
Yeah, there are many ways to be able to deal with that.
I wish there was.
But one of the very cost-effective approach, I call it sonic therapeutic intervention. Sonic therapeutic intervention simply means the recapitulation or the repetition of transcendental names which enable us to have realization of higher values, which enable us to purify our mind and our senses to be able to live a life that is based on compassion, caring, and community mindset. It's similar to what we have as systems approach. Systems approach means that we have to see the whole system, because a system cannot work. Now, this body that we are seeing, if my pinky finger, something hurts it, my whole body is going to be terrible. I may not be able to sleep. If you have a whitlow on your pinky finger, you may not be able to sleep. Just a small pinky finger. If even you have a pin, small teeny pin, pricks your pinky finger, you're in a mess. Because this finger is part of this bodily system. And so the finger and all other limbs, they work together. And therefore, systems approach means that if we see the whole of the creation as a system that is based on utility for higher values, a system that is being monitored. Because look at how everything is working so nicely. If we simply think that there is no engineer behind this whole setting, and we can do anything we want that we like, then we are making a grave mistake. Therefore, it is important for us to understand that when we adopt a system where we can just purify this body and our senses based on the fact that we are not the proprietors of these bodies. These bodies, they are emanating from somewhere or being created, or they are assembled. There are some engineers, like we have Lord Brahma. He assembled these, different elements of this body. But the point is that we can't use this body in any and anyhow that we like. Therefore, the way to become free from these pushes, this urge to steal, is to engage in activities that help to purify the senses and the mind. And one way to do that is sonic therapy. In the Vaishnava tradition, sonic therapy is being practiced by all of these Hare Krishna devotees all over the place. They're going about chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is sonic therapeutic intervention.
But it's just sound, right?
Yeah.
How is that supposed to help?
Oh, look, there are so many qualitative and quantitative studies in the academy that have been conducted based on chanting Krishna's holy names. Mm-hmm. In 1999, a dissertation at University of Florida was done on this chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, and that was a quantitative research. Now, quantitative research studies are basically generalizable because they're quantitative. So, what we are saying that this works is not that I believe and you don't believe. This is already established in the academy. A PhD dissertation was conducted.
So you're saying they've done experiments?
Yeah, they've experimented on this, okay? And they've come out with results that, yes, it does mitigate and helps to promote high self-control. It mitigates this tendency to of low self-control and promote high self-control.
But can I use any sound, or it has to be some kind of special sound?
There are the sound that was experimented was this transcendental sound.
Transcendental sound.
Yeah, it's not any other sound.
What makes sound transcendental?
When sound is transcendental, it means that it could create a positive change in our lives. Okay. Look at the case of Srila Prabhupada. When he came to New York and started the Hare Krishna movement, he was simply chanting Hare Krishna, and all these hippies and different type of people, drug addicts who came to him, some of them became purified to the point that they became global spiritual leaders. So that is a clear evidence. That's just a clear evidence, even in the case of Prabhupada. So, and we have seen a number of us who took up this process of sonic therapy in the Hare Krishna movement by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By Krishna's special mercy, some of us came from very degraded backgrounds. Like, some of us, we are like sexomaniacs. Or, the people who are like drug addicts and all this type of stuff. But, we became holy personalities, moving around and helping to create positive change in others and the global setting. So there are a lot of evidence, data to this effect. So next time someone tells you that, what are you doing to help to, address problems in the world? Tell them we are this Maha Mantra we are chanting that Bhakti Vasudeva Swami said. He's done some works in the academy. It's established. He's called it sonic therapeutic intervention. It's accepted by scholars globally, and so we're doing this, and it has changed a lot of people. Okay. So evidently, we have the medicine, we have the remedy to kleptocracy. So having known that low self-control is one of those major factors, we have to see, like, the interviewer asks, is there any solution? So I mentioned, there's a solution to promote that sense of control, have high self-control, we could embark on spiritual activities and diet, sonic therapeutic intervention, diet therapy. We regulate our diet, and in this way, the urges to pursue frivolous or selfish gains or personal gains will become minimized, if not completely eradicated. So it's a process that anyone and everyone should actually, I will advocate people should try it. We have so many people who have tried it and they got very, amazing results. And not only does it help to, these are just side, any medication has side effects these days, heavy medications. This is a heavy spiritual medication. But the side effect is a positive one. Mm-hmm. One of the side effects that it helps to promote self-control. Although the main objective of chanting these Krishna's names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The main purpose is to be able to promote love for Krishna. But the side effect is that automatically you have high self-control. So this is a good deal. Try it. Why not? So, having said that, I want to quickly go into some of the other endogenous factors, which are, because we're talking about academic stuff, so pardon me for my terminologies, because this is what I share with the professors, and I'm just trying to, recap some of the things.
And these are on your website, bhaktitirsa.com. Bhakti Swami, Bhakti Vasudeva Swami.com.
Yeah, these are on my website. You can check that out. And one of the other endogenous factor that contributes to kleptocracy is that we have the gunas. The gunas are the three modes of material nature. Basically, we have the mode of ignorance, or tamagun. We have the mode of passion. We have the mode of goodness. The permutations of these modes create different type of behaviors in the individual. And in the Bhagavad Purana, Krishna delineates these interactions of these modes of nature, how they create different situations for us. So, for instance, if someone is affected, is under the auspices of the mode of passion, we want to do everything to be able to achieve our goals without really caring how we hurt other people. So, someone with a kleptocratic mindset will go ahead under the impulse of the mode of passion and ignorance. Mode of ignorance here implies that someone is stealing from the government, and when others are suffering because they don't have the resources to take care of themselves, to feed their family, in some countries, kleptocracy has wreaked havoc. People are not even paid their regular salaries. The people who are on top of situations, they just steal the money and use the money for their own personal goods, or invest the money for business. And I know of countries, I don't want to mention names, I know of countries developing countries where teachers are not paid sometimes for 6 months. Yeah. So tell me, how do you want these people who are teaching your children or our children, how would you want them to rate you? And do you think that they are happy with you? And if people are not happy with you, if you hurt people, you're going to get some reactions. That is what we call requital epistemology. Requital means you throw a ball to the wall, the ball bounces back to you. You may enjoy throwing the ball to the wall right away, but when the ball bounces back to you and hits you, sometimes people wonder, I got run down by a stray bullet. It was an accident. Okay? So that may be true. But bottom line is that we have the kleptocratic tendency, and therefore we tend to take advantage of every situation, but we are being impelled by the mode of ignorance and passion. And under the mode, the combination of the mode of ignorance and passion, we are motivated to cheat or to steal, and we don't feel remorse for it. This is it. Because if you feel bad about what you're doing, then you will not do it again. But if you feel comfortable about it, you are even happy about it, which is the dominant factor of the dominant characteristic factor of someone under the influence of the mode of ignorance, is that they are happy to see the suffering of the masses. So due to this influence of the mode of ignorance, we take from the government without caring about what other people are passing through. So that is one endogenous factor. So I've talked about two endogenous factors here. We have still more of that. Endogenous factors, low self-control, and the effect of the three gunas on kleptocrats. And so these three gunas are delineated in the Vedic literature. Otherwise, you could just be wondering, hey, where did he get all these ideas? No, look at my dress. I'm a Swami, but I'm also a scholar at the doctoral level. My research is in leadership and organizational change. And so, these things are there in the Vedic literature. What I do is just to integrate applied Vedic science and applied management and decision sciences in de-escalating problems in the material world. And so when we look at things from a holistic view, we see that, yeah, we do have problems, but the solutions are also there, especially in the Vedic literature. Because the Vedic literature is like a manual that was given to humanity for use to be able to see how best to use this universe. And so the solutions to these problems are also there. We need to see ways to be able to churn out the essence of all of these solutions to be able to see how we can use that for our growth in a global setting where kleptocracy has become the watchword.
So this sonic purification purifies a person. Not only this, because right now we were talking mostly about people taking resources from some organization, either be it a government or a private organization, and using it for their own purposes. But we also see that other things are involved, which we aren't going to get a chance to talk about. For instance, rape and all kinds of other things are also one of the things that are a concomitant factor with these kind of issues. And I saw that in your publications, you also talk about these things. So we're going to have to end up here, and I just want to point people who are interested in these topics to Bhakti Vasudev's website, which is here, bhaktivasudevaswami.com, where you can look at his papers and read them and ponder the explanations that he gives. And if you are you giving any kind of lectures in the New York City area sometime in the near future?
Maybe in public lectures or
public lectures?
Not except I'm just having programs with the devotees.
Programs with the devotees.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you all very much for coming to Vedic Culture and Knowledge. And this is a very nice little episode here we've had talking about kleptocracy and the ideas of Vedic literatures applied practically and dynamically to offset common and very, very difficult issues that we face. So goodbye, and tune in for the next episode when you get the opportunity.